Okay, we've got the 6-hour P238 here, and we're going to swap out that plastic trigger and put in a steel trigger. And I'm going to show you the process here. Obviously, the first thing we do is we want to make sure that it's empty. Look down inside there, there's nothing in there. Put my finger in there, there's no shell in there. Go ahead and drop the magazine, and that's that. So, next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove the slide. Slide's coming out, slide's off. And then we're going to take off these, the screws and the grips. Alright. Take a little screwdriver. This is a gunsmith set. Going to remove the magazine catch. It's out of there. Alright. Now, the next thing we're going to do, this is the essential tools here. I've got here's a block of wood. Screwdriver, of course, screwdriver set. You'll need an Allen wrench to take the grip screws off with. Here's a set of Starrett pin punches, and you're going to use a 16th inch punch. If you have trouble getting that pin out, and it goes out from the right side to the left, if you have trouble getting that pin out, you may want to buy a nail set. Here's one. I had to buy the whole three-piece set because they didn't have the small one. What you want is the 1/32 size, and it's got a little tiny cup in the end there that for driving that out. You can put a lot of force on that thing. You know, put the thing down there and just wail on it. It won't hurt anything unless you get too wild. But I'm going to use a regular 16th inch punch. Set her right down there like that. Alright, it went in the hole. So, pull the punch out. There's the trigger coming out. And you pull her down like that, and out the side like that. Alright? I'm going to set that aside. Now you can take this out. This is the disconnector. You can take it out, but just remember to put it back in. It's not necessary to pull the disconnector out. Alright, so once you get the trigger out of the gun, take that same punch again, and put your finger over that little hole down the bottom. There's a little hole there. That spring's going to want to shoot out of there. Put your little finger over that hole, punch that out of it. Now it's when you pull the pin punch out that it's actually going to want to spring out. But it doesn't want to spring very hard. So and you will remember that goes on that way with the bow up that way. So then I'm going to take the spring out. I'm going to set aside a piece of garbage trigger. For people who want a bright-sided trigger, the triggers come surface ground, but in the abrasive tumbler, they kind of got a little bit of a dark cast to them. If you want them bright, just take some, here's some, this is 220 grit paper. Make sure there's no crumbs or anything underneath of it. And just take your trigger in the long way, just like that, like that. Just do a few little movements like that. And do the same thing on the other side. And if you really want it bright, that was 220, here's some 320. And here's some 600 grit. That'll get it even finer polish on it. And it doesn't change the part dimensionally. It just polishes up the sides. My little pin on there. And put that in there like that. And what I'm going to do, take that little pin and put it in the hole so that it's sticking out like that. And then as I move that up there to where it's got to be, I can push it in with my fingernail like that. Alright. Now with that little headed pin in there, that keeps it from going over center like that. I can't make it go over center. What happened in the past was it would go over center right about the time you're putting it back in the gun. Okay, so here's the gun. Just put the trigger in like that, just like that, and you kind of stick the bottom of the trigger forward. Here we go. As I wiggle, there we go, that's it. And take a bigger pin punch like this one here and drive it in the last bit. That's it. As for the rest of it, it's just a matter of reassembly. Push the little deal down like that. Pull this thing back. Have to line up the lug hole in the bottom. Pick that up a ways so that you don't make an idiot scratch. Line up that little divot right there and you're home. Anytime you can put the mag release back in. It's always kind of a hassle getting that mag release to go in there. And we go ahead and put the screws back in. Uno, dos. Take the 3/32 Allen wrench. Of course, you want a little tighter than that. They don't need to be real tight. All right. All right. That's it. There's a little recess in the back there. That's the trigger bow relief channel right there. And the trigger bow's got to go in there. Once you've done this about 50 times, it gets a little easier. Hopefully none of you will have to do it 50 times. Okay. So now, I'll bring that down like that. And here we go. Now we're back in there. Now notice that the trigger bow is in that little slot right there. And I'm going to bring the trigger forward until I can see that little hole right there. All the way through there. I'm going to line that up with this pin. There. Now I got it lined up with the pin. Now I'm going to take the trigger pivot pin, put it in there like that. At this point I'm going to do whatever it takes. That was not a good idea to drop that on the There we go. Now I got that got it down. The reassembly is pretty simple. You just notice, make sure that the disconnector's in there. It's located right. You didn't bend that trigger bow or anything. What I was saying earlier about you can drop the hammer before you put the before you take the old trigger out and put the new one in if you want to, and avoid the problem of dropping it like I did. without a slide. But here's the reassembly. You just you should know all this by now anyway. You put the magazine release catch back in there. Put the grips back on. 3/32 Allen wrench. You don't need to be real tight. Finding that balance of how tight to get a screw in a gun is something that a guy should learn pretty quick, because more guns have been ruined by over tightening than anything else. The amount of effort it takes to drill out the old strip threads and put an insert in there is way out of proportion to the amount of effort it takes just to not get it too tight. So the grips are on, the magazine catch is on again. Get that on there like that. Alright, at that point you just push that down with your thumbnail, bring her back far enough. Actually, you want to go, you can see the cam right in there for the barrel cam. Now notice I didn't put an idiot mark on there, but that's one thing you want to avoid. And pull that back to line that up. Shove it in, you're done. I don't really know if you can dry fire these or not, like a 1911. And that's it. Of course, my video is going to be without any comments, because of all the ape-like subhumanoids that are out there that actually know how to use a computer enough to put their foul language comments. You can see the Sig is a lot better looking gun with the stainless steel trigger. And this is a Sig Sauer P238 HD, so the frame is also stainless steel. Later on I'm going to come up with a stainless steel replacement for this piece of plastic garbage right there. That's the mainspring housing. Anyway, thank you. Bye.